Awesome. Hello, everybody. My name is Rabbi Jeff, the Executive Director of The Well, and I'm here with Rabbi Jen later, and we are here to reflect for Rosh. So welcome, Rabbi Jen. Should I call you Rabbi Jen, Rabbi later?
Rabbi Jen's great, but I just want you and everyone else to know that it's a lot of pressure to ask rabbis what they're speaking about 6-7 weeks before the high holidays. It's giving me like an anxiety attack, like rising up in my throat right now, but we'll do our best.
I'm sorry, but also not sorry, because we want to know. But the first question I have really for you is, what is the music of the band, or even like the background music that you are finding fulfilling right now this week?
So I'm a Texan. I grew up in Texas, and so for me, the soundtrack of my life is like Americana folk stuff. So I actually am a passionate fan of the Avett Brothers, and I find that their story is amazing. They're these two brothers out of North Carolina, and they are the most gorgeous music in the world. But also, their grandfather was a minister, and so so these two guys took the tradition of like experiencing the world through writing and experiencing theology and God and nature through music. And so all of their stuff I find to be sermons in and of themselves. So if you haven't listened to them, You got to go listen to the Avett Brothers. They won't let you down. Can't hype them enough.
Awesome. I'm listening to a lot of Questlove right now this week.
Nice.
So, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's dive into Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. What do you think you're going to be talking about?
Yeah. So nobody can hold me to any of this. That's the rule.
Yeah, that is a good.
But as of right now, I was watching with my family a couple of nights ago. We were watching Inside, the Bo Burnham thing on Netflix.
Oh my God, yes.
Was
loved it.
Yeah, mind-blowing. I had to actually watch it in like 3 chunks because I was overwhelmed when I was watching it by how incredibly powerful it was. It felt like a year's worth of therapy, like sitting in the dark watching TV with my family. So I have been thinking a lot about communal grief and like communal experience, and the fact that now as things are opening up and we're getting ready to do in-person high holidays and things seem to be moving back to normal, that we have all experienced something just truly earth-shattering, shaken to our core. And there hasn't really been a lot of opportunity to express that grief or to process what we've lost or what we've been through. And, it reminds me of these stories of like, our grandparents in the Depression or Holocaust survivors, people who've experienced something just so shattering, and how it takes a generation for people to start to process what that was like and to share with their children, like the experiences that they've had. So I'm preaching on Yom Kippur, which gives me a little bit of extra time this year. Yeah, we're so big that everybody gets, one really big 1 or 2 sermons, and then we get to listen to our colleagues preach the rest of the time. So I'm really thinking about how to process a communal experience like this and how to move forward in a positive way and take the good parts of what we learned about, our priorities, what matters to us, what's important to us, and also how to not just, push this down into the center of ourselves and ignore what we've been through. So that's sort of where I'm thinking. We'll see what comes out in the whole.
No, you're not being held to anything. You have a right to change your mind up until the last.
I think what I'll do is just like pick my 3 favorite sketches from the Bo Burnham thing and just show them on the screens, and then that'll be that. Like the high holiday sermon after that.
I have my own personal favorites. We'll talk about it, but the concept of grief and the collective experience of it is something that I love thinking about. Grief that happens in public space, and processing it in public space, like where can we do that?
Right.
Because so often we're processing it in much more smaller, intimate environments. And so like the median is really community in different places, and it's tough to go through a public communal experience of like remarkable grief and loss. And is there a public space to process that in a way that's like really productive and safe?
Yeah, and I love, Judaism's really good at this because we do this on Kol Nidre anyway. Like, Yom Kippur, when we read our list of sins, we process those experiences as a community, even if we ourselves haven't experienced every single one of those things. And that's sort of where I am. Like, this is the space. If there's going to be a sacred space where we can pour out our feelings, our emotions, talk to other people, be honest and vulnerable, like we've got the space to do it. We're really lucky to have that opportunity.
I'm already feeling like little goosebumps right now, little chills. This is like, no, because it really resonates. I can't wait to hear it, whatever it turns into. But on this line of thinking, help me bring it down to earth. What if I am now excited to watch and read your sermon on Yom Kippur, what might I, other than Bo Burnham's
Yeah, I would recommend Bo Burnham's Inside if you haven't watched it already. But so I am a voracious reader, and part of my COVID, I don't know, benefit, if you will, is having the time to really like read everything all the time. But I, in preparing for the high holidays, I turn to my rabbis, who aren't always rabbis, right? We all have our rabbis, our gurus, people we trust to help us process our own feelings and our own thoughts and our own experiences. And for me, I love poetry. So Kate Baer, if anybody loves poetry, is a master of figuring out how we feel and how to express it in a simple way. And so I love her stuff. But I was telling you, Rabbi Jeff, before we started, that I love Anne Lamott, who I think she's a minister, but she's a writer's writer. She writes about writing, but someone who I admire, who like really delves into the nature of the soul, and also like how to write about it, how to express that in a really clear way. And so she came out with this amazing book. It's called Dusk, Night, Dawn on Revival and Courage. And she wrote it during the pandemic. And so I really appreciated hearing somebody's perspective while going through it. It's hard for me now, having been through that. I don't really like reading retrospectives yet. Like I don't want to hear someone's interpretation of it yet. What I want is to relive my own experience and process that at the same time as reading about someone else who's doing it at the same time. That's why I think the Bo Burnham thing was also so powerful. So Anne Lamott, her book on resilience and courage in the midst of this international, just mind-blowing catastrophe, I thought was really powerful. It helped me to figure out like where I'm going to go next from here.
Beautiful. All right. Those are some excellent recommendations. I'm really excited for you to hold space for the community to talk about this. How can young adults of the well and beyond even maybe participate in this high holiday experience at Temple Israel this year?
So our high holidays are always open to young adults in our community. We are absolutely thrilled to have young people come and participate in any way that they want. So this year is a little tricky because we are still in the midst of a pandemic. And so young adults are absolutely welcome to contact me or contact the synagogue if they'd like to come in person. We're offering in-person and virtual options, but we're limiting, instead of having just walk-in for stuff, because we usually have 10,000 people sort of coming through for high holidays, we're really limiting so that we can do it in a really safe and effective way. So we're planning on outside, and outside is going to be phenomenal. It's early enough this year, good for weather, bad for rabbis, that we can have this beautiful outdoor experience. And if it's catastrophic weather, then we'll move half of the crew inside in a socially distanced, masked, in a limited capacity way. So if young adults would like to join us in person, they are absolutely welcome. They can reach out for specific tickets and information about how to register for ticket times. And of course, all of our virtual offerings are available for everybody who wants to watch on Facebook, on YouTube, on our website, and we're excited for both our in-person and virtual communities to join us for the high holidays this year.
Awesome. Thank you, Rabbi. I also imagine, by the way, if you're used to like 10,000 people coming through Temple Israel over the course of the high holidays, like having these like separated like this is going to feel more intimate too. I mean, that could actually be.
Yeah, we always do, everybody else on like the rabbi Facebook pages are talking about how crazy it is that they have to do like tiered services in different rooms, but we're really used to that. So we are, it's going to feel more intimate. It'll feel really special, but I just can't imagine. We've been doing Friday night services too in person the last few weeks, and it is so, it's magical. It's like absolutely magical to be back in real life, to be with our people, to see each other face to face instead of on a computer screen. And so young adults are welcome to join us Friday nights too. It feels so good and so right to be able to be there listening to music and singing together. It feels almost normal.
Almost normal.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Rabbi, so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to hopefully seeing you for the high holidays.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you.